Welcome to Save Thousands on Your Wedding in 3 Easy Steps. I'm Victoria Lewis, and I'm going to be your host and guide as I teach you how to save time, money, and stress.
And then a lot of people think, I'm going to do a lot of DIY projects. That's how you think you're going to save money. So most people say, I'm pretty good with Google search and finding a good deal. Most people think they're going to plan their wedding with a Google search. So here's a potential problem. Can you trust the internet? And you've heard the saying, they can't put anything on the internet if it isn't true, right? So I'll tell you one little story. My husband and I met with a potential photographer, maybe it was 2 years ago, and he brought in his portfolio and his packages, and he's all excited about maybe working with a wedding planner. And what was so interesting is he said he had just moved there from the coast, and he pulled up, and he said, I've done a few weddings here, so he pulled up some of his portfolio. One of them was a wedding that we did, and we had never met him. So he stole this photographer that we knew, their pictures off a line. I don't know how many other pictures they stole. How would you know if that happened to you? I know you guys are thinking, I'm going to try to find a cheap photographer, and I'm going to look on Craigslist and do Facebook and whatever. So you don't know if somebody's going to rip you off, unless it's a really well-known, established company that has a brick-and-mortar building, which a lot of people in the wedding industry don't have that. So we're going to have a serious talk. To successfully plan your own wedding, tonight you guys have to put your pride aside, have an open mind, and forget everything that you read on the internet. So everything, and I have brides that come in all the time and they're like, well, I know that I'm supposed to do blah, blah, blah. I know that this, and they'll state what they think is a fact or something. Typically they're wrong, but they read it and it sounded good. So then I just walk them through the rest of the process, kind of share with them why that's not maybe accurate. So you guys really have to, at this point, just wipe your mind clean and pretend, okay, I know nothing and I don't believe anything that I've read. So the number one thing that you guys need to do is consider investing a majority of your time researching, questioning, doubting, double-checking, and cross-referencing. When we encounter a new vendor, this is exactly what we do. So even if it's somebody that we've heard of, we recently, actually it was last year, we had a client come to us. They had most of their services done, but she was just all stressed out, wanted help with the rest of the planning. And so it was a very well-known establishment, and they really wanted to start doing weddings. So our bride came in, and I was going over the information in the contract, and so I was asking her questions, going through the contract. This was a venue, and she said, oh, they're not going to charge me for that. Oh, they're not going to make me follow that policy. They said I don't have to do this. And the contract was like this thick, which is already a red flag to me, because that's unusual. So I'm going through everything, and so I just said, tell me your understanding in this section, tell me what you think this. So I'm taking notes, and then my husband and I went to meet with the venue without the bride. And so we're asking the facility manager, okay, so we just want to be familiar with your facility, and this is going to be the first time we've worked with you guys. So can you explain this to me? Can you explain this to me? And so I went over everything, and just about everything that the bride thought they weren't going to charge her for, she verified. And she said, oh yeah, that's true, we're not going to charge her for that, we won't do this, blah, blah, blah. So we did a tour of the facility, and she was pretty proud of it. We spent like 2 hours there, and then I went home and I shot her an email. Thanks so much for meeting with us and spending all the time showing us your facility. We're excited to do the wedding. And then I said, I just want to verify that I wrote down all the information right. So then I did bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next day I got an email. I'm sorry, according to section blah, 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 we're not able to facilitate that. Every single thing was a no. She thought she was going to pay about $1,000 or $1,500 for that event being held there. It was going to be over $4,500. But she wouldn't have known until 2 weeks before the wedding when the balance was due. So I know this sounds harsh, but she lied to my client. She lied to me. But when it was going to be in writing, she had to tell the truth, because then I'd go back and say, well, look, you said you weren't going to charge all this. And that happens all the time. So you're gonna hear things from people, oh yeah, don't worry about that, we'll throw that in. Oh, don't worry about that. Always verify it. And really, if something sounds like a good deal, you really have to ask yourself, why are they giving you a good deal? Most people are in business just to make money. So, are they really gonna give you that good deal? Maybe they are. Some of us are nice. But I also have to pay my electric bill, and I have to pay my employees, and I gotta pay all of our other services, so they still have to make money. So you have to ask yourself, why are they giving you such a great deal? Okay, so if the average couple takes 400 to 600 hours to plan their wedding, which that's really average, that's kind of doing it kind of quick. So if the average couple spends 400 to 600 hours planning their wedding, and the average couple goes over budget 23 to 27%, this tells me they did not spend enough time researching the actual needs and costs. So you also have to calculate this 400 to 600 hours, which we'll go over in a little bit. How much time do you have to invest planning your wedding? You really have to know however much money your budget is. I don't care if it's $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever that amount is. That's a lot of money, and you have to really take that amount of money seriously. And to take that money seriously, you have to invest that kind of time. So whatever amount that is, you have to think of that like either a part-time or full-time job. So however much money you make a year at your job, how does that compare to your wedding budget? You have to invest at least that much time into planning your wedding, really, for it to come out right. Okay, so this is why it's so hard to find